Oh, this is nice. Look at the moon over dropping there behind Mount Arbel. Oh, this looked like the reflection, almost the light's pouring out of the window. But it's pouring in from here and reflecting, obviously. So pouring out as well. Absolutely beautiful morning. All along the way the light is there, it's amazing. I can see Mount Hermon and the sun reflecting off the snow. Can you see it there in the middle of the screen? Beyond that nearby hill. Today we have two readings that address our inappropriate seizing of dominion. Dominate, dominion. Dominus means the Lord, actually. It would also be used for what we would have in the English language, the Lord of the Rings, the Lords of a region. They were the bosses, they were the dominus, the big shots. They had the dominion, they owned, dominate. And sometimes we take dominion of things that are not ours. The whole narrative of David's census is a bit difficult for us today. We're very used to the concept of census, which can also be exercised as service, because we need to know how many people are needing help at a certain age, the aging of population. When I was a child in grade school and primary school, there was a survey done in the region for working people and their talents. So the school sent the children in the 6th class around to their neighborhoods to ask how many people were able to work in a factory, or depending, also there was some type of assessment of the talent, what they had, but there was mostly manual labor available back in the early 60s, and it was sizing up the population as the country tried to grapple with the needs of people, their financial needs, the information needed by investors bringing in factories or different sources of work. And that was a service. In David's case, the mentality is understood that it's the preparation for war. It's the ability to conquer territory, to exercise dominion. The numbers seem very big. Over 1 million people available for military service. That gives a lot of freedom to rulers who are ruthless to exercise dominion. But then the dominion we have is so circumstantial because it's fragile, and suddenly a huge portion of these people die. Through a plague, understood as punishment. And then the king has to realize that he doesn't have dominion. Dominion is the Lord's. And if we recall there last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe over 2 weeks ago, we started reading about the people wanting and demanding a king. And here we have two classic cases of the evils that kings practice in the story of Uriah and his wife, and the king's exercising a dominion that was not at all his. And then the death of Uriah. And we remember Samuel's words to the people who demanded to have king. And now they are suffering some of the consequences of having a king who exercises a dominion that belongs to the Lord. When kings understand that lordship is service. We have that marvelous pedagogical moment at the Last Supper when Jesus prepares himself in the role of a slave at that time and starts to wash their feet. And the conversation that ensues, am I not in charge here? And yet I am the one who serves, and so should you relate to each other. And it's a lesson we all have a hard time learning, not easy. Parents serving their little child, their little baby, they love the baby immensely, and so love can get us to overcome our pride, our ego, our reluctance to put ourselves at the service of others. Maybe there's a clue there. When we are asked to serve, the first thing we should do is renew and exercise our love, and concretely our love for those people. In order to offer a worthy service, a dignified service that corresponds also to our dignity, because the greatness of our life is really to serve. I remember one of the first writings of Pope John Paul II as Pope treated that particular theme of work as service, of in laborum exercens in one, but there was another one before that on the, I think it was the very beginning of his mission. I'm trying to recall the name of it now. And it was a marvelous number, I think it was number 22 in the document, and treating that the greatest way we can be in our world, in our communities, is to be a servant. And then the people of Nazareth exercise a dominion that's not theirs. The only way to approach a prophet is through faith, and to approach a prophet through rejection is a big temptation. And the Lord is always speaking to us in marvelous ways also through people in our lives. And they're speaking for the Lord. And sometimes we don't hear, we don't want to hear. We reject, we refute, we're in rebellion. And so we have Psalm 32 today, our responsorial verse, verse 5. Lord, forgive the wrong I have done. And that's one of the things that David is good at, is praying for forgiveness. Something that we all need to be good at. People, God bless you. See you later, alligators. I should have been over there where the sun was reflecting, but that's okay. We already covered that a couple of times today.